and welcome to Horror Rewind. This is Kelly Florence.
And I'm Meg Hofdahl.
And today we're talking about the movie Caveat. We are sitting outside. It's a sunny day in June. It is almost July. It's July tomorrow. Where did the summer go? I know it's not over.
I know, it's going fast. But as we're looking out at these trees and we see the road and all this, I'm thinking about the island on the movie today and how in other circumstances it could have been very nice to be on a little island in the summer.
Oh, that's true. Now, I personally have not experienced this, but there's a lake up north of where I live, and there are a bunch of islands on it. We actually saw a billboard yesterday that said, I think there's like 360 islands on this one lake. And my friend told me when she used to go camping on one of the islands that bears swim between them, and you see like bears swimming to an island. Can you imagine?
So when I was camping on the Apostle Islands as a kid, I was confused because it was an island, but we had to like keep everything in a bear trunk so that they don't eat your snacks. And
Yeah,
they
swim.
Bears. Yeah, that would be like, what do they doggy paddle? Do they front
so.
stroke? Like what's happening?
I think so, because have you ever been to a zoo that has polar bears and you can see them swimming? It's like a little doggy paddle.
That's true. I guess so. Well, anyway, that's terrifying. And
Yeah.
that, like, if that had come into play in this movie and then there were bears on top of it, it would have really been too much.
Yeah, that's true. Now, okay, well, first of all, we will be talking about spoilers. So we will start getting into spoilers now, but if you haven't seen Caveat, go check it out. We highly recommend it. It's on Shudder. Meg, do you want to tell everybody, like, the people and the backstory and the...
Sure, it was released in 2020. As you said, you can watch it on Shudder. It was written and directed by Damien McCarthy, and everyone in it is Irish, I believe. It's an Irish film. I'm clicking on the director to see what else he has done, if it's anything we've heard of.
I think this...
Not really. This is kind of, his first thing. I mean, he's been involved in a few little things, but I think that you can kind of see how this is a low-budget movie, and kind of, and I said to you after I watched it, like, they really did a good job of using what they had, which is 4 actors and an abandoned house.
Yeah. I thought it was such a cool premise. It's so bizarre and strange and off-putting and unsettling that, hey, will you go and watch is it his daughter or his niece?
It's the guy's niece.
His niece. And be, by the way, you have to wear this vest and chain. And by the way, she gets into these fits. And by the way,
Yeah, there's a lot of caveats.
Yeah. There's this rabbit who plays a drum. And by the way, there's a dead woman in the wall.
Yeah. So I think the only way they were going to sell this is that this guy is really down on his luck. Like, this is a haggard guy who clearly has been through some shit, but still there's a surreality. How do you say that?
Surrealness? I don't know.
Anyway, to it, because he agrees to do this, and already it's like a very strange request. And then when he gets there, and the place is so in such bad shape, and the girl is in such bad shape, there's no food, which I found very interesting, because I was like, I guess that's the way I think, but I'd be like, where's the food? He can't reach the toilet once he's on the thing, so it's like, there's all these aspects that are like, no one else would put up with this sort of thing. And of course they establish he can't swim, which is a great thing.
I was going to say,
away.
that he can't just swim off the island.
Yeah, so there's a realistic aspect to it, but then there's also a very surreal, almost fantastical aspect to it too, because it's unbelievable, but filmed in a very believable way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at some of the creepiest moments, obviously, anytime the girl's got her hands over her eyes and she's just bleeding from the nose, and we're just supposed to be like, okay,
Yeah.
Like, what if you came over to my house and I was just sitting like that? And you're like, oh, that's just what Kelly does.
Yeah. Oh, Kelly just has these little fits. She watched Bo Burnham too many times.
Yeah. What if I came to your house and you're like, you have to wear this vest and chain?
Would you still come and hang out with me if it reached where you sit on my couch?
I mean, how much am I getting paid? I mean, it's so weird. It's so bizarre, but it all works.
It does. And, we set up and we start kind of figuring out that this uncle is definitely the bad guy, which is not hard to believe because obviously he's left his niece in this situation and, something's not right. For me, I think the first time I was really unnerved or scared was the painting when he's trying to sleep. Yes, he's trying to sleep and then he turns it around, but then it's such a simple thing we've seen in so many movies where something, it becomes sentient.
It falls and then he turns it around. Yeah. It turns around itself and then her eyes are different.
Yeah. And it's we've seen that so many times, but there was just something about that particular way it was shot and the music and everything. It just really, I felt very, I was him in that moment and what would I do in that situation, which is horror really at the core. So that scared me. And then I knew, okay, things are going to get real.
Also, I feel like, I don't know why my mind went here, but normally, when you see this grand picture fall or painting or whatever, it's always in a mansion, an old mansion. And this was a dilapidated house. And it's
True.
Why are they even decorating these walls? This place is disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, and then there was that dog. Again, another surreal thing where the dog is sitting outside and he finally finds a thing of Spam and feeds it, and that's the only thing. But the dog is living, yet
who's
it's
taking
tied
care
up.
of it?
Yeah, who's taking care of it? There's just so many. And then I really love how they played with the harness, where he can't get into her room to use the phone, and then he figures out how to punch a hole through the vent so that he can use the phone.
And his key is right there, but he doesn't grab it right away the first time. It's oh my God.
Yep. And then when he does go back to do it, she breaks his finger, which was really upsetting. Yeah. And then you kind of wonder, is he going to be in this harness the whole movie? Is he going to get out of this harness? And then he remembers where the other key is. And so beforehand, we saw that dead body. And that was so upsetting. And of course, I'm trying to be logical, where I'm like, okay, she's been dead for 8 months. Is this what a body would look like stuck in there for 8 months? I don't know. It was very Poe, having this body in the wall.
The scariest moment, and you said this too, when we talked about it after we watched it, was this woman's eyes are just open, and so he puts the freaking hat over her face, but there's a hole and her eyeball is looking out through it, and he just keeps looking back and we look with him, and you're feeling that.
Yeah, you're feeling that tension, because I would be doing the same thing if I was when he's stuck in there with her, with the body, and he's sawing through the wall, and he keeps looking back and nothing's changed, looking back, nothing's changed, but it's still so scary. He takes the cap, puts it over her face, and then when he looks back and somehow a hole has gone cut around her eye, I was just by myself and I'm going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, out loud to nobody, because I was so scared.
I know, when something scares me so much, I always rewind it and show somebody else so that I don't have to live with that knowledge. And so I was like, okay, Campbell, come watch this immediately.
And when he's scuttering through somewhere, I think when he's climbing from upstairs in her room down to the cellar, he finds a secret way. We also see her for a brief moment. But you're not sure if it's her, or for me, I wasn't sure if it's her, the dead body we'd seen, or another old lady or something. And that really got me scared. And they did such an incredible job of, there's something about him that just made me feel empathetic, and I was putting myself in his position the whole time. And I don't know, that doesn't always necessarily happen to me, but I just felt and I think part of it might have been they had shown that part of where he was trying to save the dad, because then he remembers that he was supposed to lock the dad in the basement, right? But then he writes a note trying to tell the guy, your brother's trying to kill you. Maybe that helped.
Oh, there's a train about to go by, friends. Listen to this. Isn't this exciting? It's like live on the podcast.
It's an old-timey train that comes by Kelly's house for tourists.
Hello, friends. So I think with how they wrote the character and even how they shot him, and obviously the acting, like you said, it was so empathy building that you're rooting for him, even though, well, obviously you would root for him, but there was never a question of, am I questioning? I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't feel like, even when he has forgotten and remembered that he was hired to do a bad thing, once you see it from his perspective and everything, and also that something's gone down with his brother, but I don't think that's ever explained, is it?
I don't think so.
So that some tragedies have befallen him. That maybe, I don't know, he gave me the impression maybe he's an addict in some way or something. He isn't like your typical final girl or somebody that you would necessarily always, I don't know, empathize with, but I was just like, oh my God, get that harness off, get that harness off.
Now, I think this is something we've written about in our Science of books. We've written about gaslighting and memory loss, and so you need to check out our books, The Science of Monsters, The Science of Women in Horror, The Science of Stephen King, and the forthcoming The Science of Serial Killers to learn more about this. But this dude was being gaslit, and he, through trauma or whatever, lost his memory, and these things are resurfacing, and that's been in a lot of Gothic literature, I feel like.
Yeah, it did feel kind of like that, because here he is stuck in this situation. There is a Gothic, like I said earlier, Poe, there are Gothic elements to this, and yeah, it is very much like being gaslit by this uncle character who has more power, obviously, and more money and more means, and obviously is using them for ill reasons. But to go back to Final Girl, that makes me realize the girl, she's an interesting character, and we're not really sure. We finally realize that she has something against him because he was part of what happened to her father. But her father killed her mother? Or did the uncle... I mean, now I think about it, maybe the uncle killed the mother and just said that her dad helped? Who knows?
I definitely want to go back and rewatch it. And we've said, if you've gotten this far in the podcast, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. And it's layered. It's creepy. It also, I think the ending is sort of ambiguous. Is she going to kill him? Are they going to run away together and,
Are you talking about the girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it could go either way.
Yeah, because it seems like he gets the dog, and we know the boat's there because the uncle brought it over. So there's a way to escape. But I like those kind of endings where it's you don't have to spell it out.
We don't have to.
We don't need to see the rainbow.
Or was it not going to be?
I know, right? I mean, it's the kind of movie that would almost seem jarring if it was too happy of an ending. But the very end, when the uncle realizes that whoever's sawing in there is not the main character.
Oh my God.
And because he hears him on the intercom, that is a great moment. And it's one of those where he's the bad guy and he deserves whatever comes to him. And then we see her poke her scary dead face. Oh, it's so unsettling. It's so well done. Yeah. I don't think it's easy to scare us, but we got scared.
Yeah. And truly, there's a lot of movies, and I can appreciate it's I see what they did there, but it didn't scare me.
Yeah.
But this one, actually, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree. It's fun to be able to watch movies like this. I feel like Shudder has been a great resource for me to watch more independent horror, because
where did we watch it before?
I know. I mean, it was, unfortunately, when the days of Blockbuster, it was you rented what you could get, but I feel like we're just getting to see more international movies and movies from even a long time ago that we missed, and all these things. So,
oh yes.
So thank you, Shudder.
Yeah, what an incredible film. And you mentioned the intercom thing. I forgot about that. That's just like this added weirdness.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It has this intercom. Again, like you said, it doesn't make sense because the house itself is like, I mean, you'd barely think that place would have it's
running
crumbling,
water.
right? Yeah.
What's with the rabbit?
Is it indicating, like, because it's indicating something, isn't it? Is she using it as like a
It's a conduit.
Kelly's doing an impression of the rabbit right now.
Is it a conduit? Is it a...
Yeah, I feel like it was almost protection for the girl, but she didn't keep it in her room, did she? Or did she? It was kind of out and about. It was kind of doing whatever it wanted to do, I guess, kind of like the painting.
God.
So, like, what happened in this house? This would be a good, like, prequel.
Oh, yeah.
To show, like, what happened to the mom.
There could be a whole
Why
caveat
is she...
universe.
Yeah, let's go. We need to pitch this to the filmmakers. No, but seriously, like, because there are a lot of things that aren't answered and a lot of things that are up for, did the dad actually commit suicide? Did he find his wife's body down there and didn't know she was down there? What's going on with this daughter? Has she always been like this? Or is this just, through the traumas of her parents dying? Why is she in that house? Like, get out of there. Like, there's just a lot to uncover. We need a prequel or a sequel or something.
I agree. I've realized through this and that movie Terrified, I don't like dead bodies just like being in a house.
Okay.
That's what I've learned.
I'm so glad through this self-discovery.
But isn't that that's one of the most disgusting, terrifying things I can imagine.
It is. Well,
like that freaking dead body sitting at the table in that other movie.
I know.
Lord.
It's like the end of Bates Motel series.
Yeah.
Or Psycho. But it's when I was doing some research for our science books, like the way the Victorians treated dead people, like Lizzie Borden, her parents, it was so freaking hot. It was August, and her parents' dead bodies were left in there for days because that's what you did.
Yeah.
And you did your whole routine there, and you had people come and visit. And I can't even imagine trying to sleep knowing that your loved one
is in the next room on a table.
Yeah. And then you look over and the sheet is like off their face and they're looking through a hole in the sheet.
Wait, that reminds me of a movie I watched. Did you watch the one I recommended?
Which one?
I can't remember what it's called, but it's like where he has to go sit with the dead body.
Oh, Vigil? No, I still haven't watched that one
Okay,
yet.
I'm going to recommend that right now. Literally, it's
I'm
about...
I'm doing it. There's more dead bodies in a house.
Speaking of culturally, like cultural things, like sometimes you have to go sit with a dead body.
So maybe this is an American thing where we don't, because we try to avoid death at all costs. Like, try to avoid being around it.
Yeah.
I mean, death in general too, but maybe because culturally we are used to not having to look at it.
And just think like 150 years ago or 100 years ago, they would take pictures of the dead bodies and like here, like put it in your scrapbook.
Yeah.
So you can always remember your father's funeral or whatever.
Well, like I was mad the other day because on that neighborhood app, somebody's like, they said, unfortunately we hit a big fat gray cat. And
did they take a picture of it?
Well, so I have a big fat gray cat, and I wasn't missing her, but just in case, I was like, I better just click on it. And then there was a picture of a dead cat, and I was so mad. I was like, don't put it on there to just click on, like, have people ask or something. But that's my like sort of cultural thing where it's like a picture of a dead cat to me is like so rude, but maybe for other people, it's being logical and saying, like, here's the cat. I don't know. But for me, it was very upsetting.
Yeah. I think we need to write about this.
The science of caveat.
Oh, yeah.
Would you go to an island like that? Like, if it had a nicer house on it? Or would you feel too, like, just for a vacay?
I don't know. I feel like, and this is because of horror movies, whenever people go out to an island, it doesn't end well.
No. I'm thinking of, like, April Fool's Day.
I was thinking of April Fool's Day. And, I still know what you did last summer. Weren't they on an island?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Remember that Harper's Island show? Did you watch that show?
No.
Oh, okay. I think that's what it was called. Yeah, so maybe small islands, big islands like Maui, good.
Yeah.
Small forested islands where it's just a house.
And there's only
or
one
two.
way on or off, and there's no like communication because there's going to be a storm. Like,
it's a little
or
too
there's
much.
bears swimming to it.
Although, if the zombie apocalypse happens while you're on there,
Oh yeah,
that could be good.
that's true.
So, it just depends what horror movie you're in.
Yeah.
You just have to figure it out.
Well, Meg,
Yeah.
let's rank Caveat on a
Okay.
scale of 0 to 10. What is the scale? Is it the bunny guy?
It's definitely the bunny guy. He's like playing a
drum.
Drum with his little. Why is that so creepy?
I know it is.
We do science of that too in our books though, of like why like
Certain
creepy
objects, yeah.
stuffies and dolls and okay. I'm gonna. Oh,
Okay, yep, 0 being hated, 10
Okay.
being it's perfect. How many creepy bunny guys do you give Caveat?
I'm gonna give it an 8 because I thought it was really creepy. I'm only taking away points because, as you mentioned, it doesn't pass the Bechdel test. And I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but I thought it was really creepy and well done, and I was scared sufficiently.
I'm giving it 9 creepy bunny guys. That's exactly what I texted you. I'm like, Meg, watch this movie. It doesn't pass the Bechdel test, but I promise it's creepy.
And it was, and I felt like both female characters were different, and like I thought the girl, she was very well versed with a bow and arrows, right? Because that's what she was using. So I mean, she was a very interesting character, and also the other actress got to be a killer dead body lady, which you don't need to explain to me. I just like.
Ugh.
She was all green and
Ew.
yeah, love it.
Oh, so
When he had to get the key off of her,
yucky.
oh, I love it.
So, as always, at us and tell us via the social medias or our website any recommendations that we should watch or talk about on the podcast. Pick up copies of our books, and remember, The Science of Serial Killers is available for pre-order. And so we'll be going on a book tour in October, and we'll let you know dates and cities soon. Otherwise, follow us, Horror Rewind, Kelly Florence, Meg Hofdahl, on Twitter, Insta, TikTok, all the places. Until next time, we'll see you in the horror section.
Bye.